On college morning, Cashin promised luxury gifts for everyone. The class cheered while I watched my vault camera. My real Sable Reserve card entered a military-grade safe. That card had already got me killed once. In my first life, Cashin walked beside me. His phone brushed my card for one careless second. By evening, $18 million had disappeared from me. The amount matched everything my classmates had spent. I confronted Cashin, but he looked wounded instead. Someone filmed me and posted the edited argument. The whole campus called me jealous and delusional. Myra Lane cried beside him for the cameras. She said my anger had made her feel unsafe. That was when I understood her real nature. She never loved me, she only loved status. Before I could report everything, my drink was tampered. Cashin raised his glass while my vision darkened. When I opened my eyes, orientation had restarted. The same lecture hall surrounded me with noise. The same classmates filled every row around me. Cashin stood at the front, smiling like royalty. He announced another welcome gift for the entire class. Everyone could shop freely at Grand Meridian Mall. He would pay for anything they wanted today. The familiar words made hatred rise inside me. At first, some classmates thought he was joking. Then Cashin revealed his black Sable payment card. The room exploded with worship and hungry excitement. He promised designer bags, perfumes, shoes, and watches. He even promised Moonwater Club after the mall. That club was the city's most expensive resort. One afternoon, there cost more than ordinary salaries. The class immediately treated Cashin like a prince. Myra stood near him, smiling with practiced softness. I stayed silent and watched the performance repeat. Cashin noticed my silence and walked over quickly. He asked whether I would join everyone today. If I refused, he said I looked arrogant. Myra reached for my wrist with gentle concern. She said college should finally change my isolation. She claimed Cashin only wanted everyone feeling welcome. In my first life, her voice controlled me. This time, I moved my hand away calmly. I told them I would gladly come today. If I stayed away, I would miss Cashin's downfall. They laughed because they thought I was joking. I was already planning how he would fall. For my first life, Cashin would pay completely. That afternoon, I returned to the Hale estate. My parents had given me the Sable Reserve card. It was connected to private Hale family accounts. It could authorize investments, reserves, and emergency transfers. In simple language, it meant unlimited spending power. In my first life, I carried it foolishly. This time, the real card entered the vault. The safe scanned my iris, palm, and voice. Without all three, nobody could open it safely. Even professional thieves would need several impossible days. After sealing it, I removed the replica card. It carried the same color and exact weight. It showed the same gold edge and crest. Inside, it had no active financial authority left. It could not withdraw, transfer, or authorize anything. If Cashin cloned it, he would clone nothing. Everything was ready when Cashin called repeatedly again. I waited until the third call before answering. His voice sounded casual, but impatience leaked through. He asked why I still had not arrived. He said Myra might stop treating me kindly. Hearing him use her name no longer hurt. In high school, I liked Myra for years. She never accepted me, but never released me. She kept me close enough to use emotionally. She kept me distant enough to deny responsibility. In my first life, she chose Cashin publicly. That finally showed me what she valued most. Even my final drink came through her circle. Whether she planned it no longer mattered now. Person who sells you once sells again. I gave Cashin a lazy answer and hung up. Then my driver took me to the mall. My family car stopped at Grand Meridian's entrance. Cashin recognized the car for half a second. People like him never misread vehicles carrying real money. The others only noticed my plain gray tracksuit. Their insults started before I closed the door. They asked whether I thought I was royalty. They mocked my clothes as cheap streetwear in public. Myra looked visibly embarrassed by my plain outfit. She asked whether I wanted to shame everyone. I glanced down at the custom cooling fabric. The tracksuit cost more than their family cars. The quiet luxury means nothing to logo worshippers. I said some people needed logos for confidence. Myra's eyes reddened like I had wronged her. Cashin immediately stepped forward as the generous mediator. He told everyone not to ruin the mood. Then he invited them inside for their gifts. The class cheered loudly for young Master Cashin. Someone said I was freeloading while acting superior. I heard every insult and smiled quietly to myself. The real show had finally started today for him. Without my card, Cashin needed another victim nearby. Inside, Myra stayed close behind Cashin's right shoulder. She asked whether Brother Cashin wanted anything special. Cashin said her company was already the best gift. Then he held her hand before everyone watching. The class cheered like a celebrity romance appeared. Cashin noticed I was not following closely behind them. He called for me to pick something too. His good guy act made my silence look rude. A lackey immediately started proving his loyalty for Cashin. He told me to leave if I hated gifts. He claimed Cashin treated me like a brother. He mocked my rented car and fake status. The insults grew louder, exactly as I expected. I turned as if I planned to leave. Cashin panicked and grabbed my arm quickly again. He told them I was his close friend. His trembling snarling voice exposed his hidden fear immediately. If I left, his secret bank disappeared with me, but I had no intention of leaving early. Without me watching, his collapse would feel wasted. I agreed to choose a gift from him. Cashin wiped sweat away and urged me forward. I selected a simple black backpack from display. In my first life, I ignored basic models. Today, that backpack was just a viewing ticket. The others had already selected expensive designer items. Myra paused before a sapphire dial mechanical watch. The watch shone so brightly everyone noticed immediately. I recognized it as a private seasonal release. It cost several $1,000,000 at minimum today. Cashin did not hesitate for even 1 second. He said Myra could have 10 watches instead. Myra looked touched and leaned close to him. The class screamed as if love had triumphed. The sales staff smiled until their faces tightened. Someone praised Cashin for giving multi-million gifts casually. Another mocked my 3 years chasing Myra uselessly. They said poor men should avoid great beauties. Myra gave me a provocative little glance afterward. I shrugged because her ending would taste bitter. After everyone finished choosing, payment time finally arrived. The salesperson brought the terminal with a flattering smile. Cashin reached into his pocket and suddenly froze. He announced that his sable card had vanished. The classmates stopped talking and searched the floor. They checked counters, bags, and display shelves frantically. Of course, the missing card never existed anywhere. Myra covered her mouth with perfectly worried innocence. She asked whether someone might have taken it. Every pair of eyes turned toward me immediately. Cashin wore guilt like a borrowed costume today. He said we had bumped shoulders earlier today. He remembered seeing a black card in my pocket. He only wanted to check it quickly once. I asked whether he accused me of stealing. Cashin waved his hands and acted embarrassed immediately. He claimed he only wanted to avoid misunderstanding. Everyone's gifts were packed, so time mattered now. His followers instantly joined the performance against me. They said showing my card would prove innocence. They asked whether touching it could steal money. That sentence made Cashin's greedy eyes flicker visibly. They had unknowingly spoken his exact theft method. I pretended anger and pulled the replica out. Then I placed it directly in Cashin's hand. His thumb pressed the edge of the card. His phone shifted closer beside the black surface. A tiny scanner flash blinked beneath the case. Nobody else noticed the theft attempt happening there. I saw everything and kept my expression cold. Cashin returned the card with an apologetic smile. He said the card truly belonged to me. Then he patted his jacket with fake surprise. He claimed his own card was there already. The classmates looked awkward for 2 short seconds. Then they blamed my attitude for their suspicion. Someone said my card was probably a prop. I almost praised him for guessing correctly aloud. This public card truly was completely fake today. The salesperson returned with the final enormous bill. The total reached $21.4 million. Cashin's smile tightened, but his hand stayed steady. He swiped his own card before everyone watching. The payment went through and the class exploded. Everyone carried designer bags while praising his generosity. I looked down at my phone calmly again. No deduction alert appeared on my screen anywhere. No hidden transfer touched the Hale family accounts. My balance sat there untouched and still enormous. A moment later, Cashin's phone buzzed loudly too. He looked down and his smile froze instantly. Then he screamed about only having $72. The entire store went completely silent around him. Cashin realized his rich image had cracked publicly. He laughed awkwardly and claimed it was smaller account. His followers rushed to explain everything for him. They said rich families used many accounts anyway. They said 20 million was ordinary pocket change. Hearing that, I could not suppress my laugh. That small laugh turned the crowd against me. They asked why a gift taker dared to laugh. They warned Cashin could ruin my entire family. I almost pitied their shallow understanding of money. 100 Vale families could not threaten us. In my first life, money started our conflict. If Cashin had confessed, repayment was still possible. His real mistake was wanting my life too. I lifted the cheap backpack and smiled lightly. I said nobody should offend young Master Cashin. If anyone bullied him, I would object first. Cashin's face darkened until he finally snapped publicly. He shouted for everyone to shut up immediately. Myra quickly strapped the sapphire watch onto her wrist. The diamonds made her wrist look deliberately delicate. She reminded Cashin about Moonwater Club's promised visit. She even promised to help him relax there. That single sentence revived his wounded pride instantly. Cashin glanced toward my pocket one more time. He asked to inspect my card again anyway. I handed him the replica without any hesitation. He examined it for nearly 1 full minute. He still found nothing wrong with it afterward. The replica matched the real card perfectly outside. Only one difference mattered: it could spend nothing. Cashin suddenly laughed and straightened his shoulders again. He claimed his parents had already transferred money. Then he led everyone toward Moonwater Club triumphantly. The class cheered for young Master Cashin again. My phone buzzed as we left the mall. The investigator had sent Cashin's detailed background report. Reading it made me smile despite myself again. A lackey demanded to know why I smiled. I memorized the loudest faces for later repayment. Then I followed them to the resort entrance. Moonwater Club looked expensive from the entrance alone. Marble pillars rose beneath warm golden lobby lights. The staff smiled only at people with money. Cashin waved his hand like he owned everything. He ordered the best package for 30 classmates. He told staff to put everything on his tab. The staff member brought out the payment machine. The premium package cost $13.5 million. Cashin swiped with the confidence of rich habit. The machine beeped and rejected the card immediately. The staff member politely said no balance remained. Cashin's face turned an ugly shade of purple. He snapped that money was was never his problem. Then his eyes fixed on me with hatred. More than 30 students blocked the resort lobby. The staff grew anxious about the waiting guests. He requested another card from young Master Vale. He said delays would cost the club money. Behind us, wealthy guests began complaining loudly together. The classmates whispered that the machine seemed broken. They insisted Cashin had already bought expensive gifts. Myra stepped forward to defend her chosen idol. She snapped that staff should recognize designer bags. She said Cashin only had a temporary issue. Her defense only made his embarrassment look worse. Cashin's hand trembled around the useless card visibly. Finally, he turned toward me for desperate help. He asked me to cover the bill first. He claimed his card had reached its limit. I widened my eyes with perfect false shock. I asked how a poor student could pay. My car was rented and my clothes were cheap. Even selling me would not cover 13 million. Cashin knew enough about me to target me, but he had let everyone call me poor. Now he wanted my money to save face. That dream was too stupid to entertain seriously. The seconds stretched while the lobby grew louder. A guest demanded security clear the students away. Another asked whether this was a private club. A Cashin lackey shouted back with fake courage. He claimed young Master Vale could bankrupt anyone. Cashin saw the guest's face and turned pale. That man was clearly someone the Vales feared. Anyone spending here likely held serious business power. Even the Vale family avoided such people carefully. Cashin finally realized he could not use me. The mall bill came from his own resources. More precisely, it drained his family's company reserve. He clenched his teeth and forced 3 words. He said that everyone was leaving immediately now. Myra froze and asked where they were going. Cashin whispered that they were returning every gift. Those words sounded impossible coming from his mouth. The staff smile vanished the moment he said it. They ordered our group away from the lobby. Security surrounded everyone and pushed us outside quickly. The afternoon heat hit the class like punishment. Within minutes, every student's anger boiled over completely. They shouted that gifts could not be reclaimed. They accused Cashin of wasting their entire day. They said compensation already belonged in their hands. Myra panicked because her watch was most expensive. She told everyone Cashin was only short temporarily. She said classmates should help each other generously. The girl told Myra to return hers first. Myra went silent and covered the watch instinctively. The sapphire dial suddenly looked heavy on her wrist. Cashin paced near the entrance, pulling his hair. Finally, he pointed straight at my pocket again. He said I also had a sable card. He claimed I was richer than him anyway. He told them to snatch it from me. Then they could still enter Moonwater Club freely. His only condition was returning his purchases first. Otherwise, he threatened to call the police immediately. He expected the crowd to attack me immediately, but nobody believed I was truly rich anyway. They laughed at my clothes and plain backpack. They said my card was obviously fake too. They reminded Cashin that cameras were everywhere outside. He had given the gifts willingly, not under force. The class no longer feared his police threat. Cashin's face darkened as control slipped away completely. He finally revealed the cruelty beneath his smile. He threatened to ruin their scholarships and futures. If they resisted, he would make them regret it. My fingers moved slightly inside my pocket now. The recording app had already been running now. In my first life, he twisted public opinion. This time, his own voice would bury him. Just as the crowd descended into chaos, headlights flashed. A luxury car stopped beside the resort entrance. A tall man stepped out in a dark suit. His gold watch flashed under the afternoon light. Cashin's expression changed before he could speak now. The man slapped him hard across the face. He demanded why Cashin touched the company reserve. The South Bay project had failed because funds vanished. The Vale company was bleeding losses because of him. This man was Damon Vale, Cashin's older brother. Damon actually managed the family's business operations now. Cashin's arrogance collapsed the moment Damon appeared now. He dropped his head and begged for mercy. He still glanced backward at the watching classmates. He asked Damon for another $13 million. He said he had promised them Moonwater Club. He promised repayment after joining the company later. Damon stared like he heard something impossible now. He asked how Cashin could be that stupid. 20 million had gone to this greedy crowd. Now Cashin wanted 13 million more for entertainment. Damon ordered assistants to recover every purchased item. Anything bought with company, money had to return. But Damon underestimated the greed surrounding Cashin today. The moment assistants moved, the classmates scattered everywhere. Some ran toward taxis with designer bags clutched. Some hid boxes behind their bodies desperately now. Some shouted that gifts could not be reclaimed. Only a few unlucky students were stopped now. Myra did not run from the scene now. She chose a more calculated performance instead now. She removed the watch and held it out. She claimed she loved Cashin, not his money. Cashin looked moved by her emotional acting now. Damon saw through her with one cold glance. He said his brother was foolish, not the family. A woman like her would never enter Vale doors. Myra's face shifted between pale and red now. She realized she had returned the watch too early. Now she had lost both bait and fish. I watched everything like a cheap public farce. With no escape left, Cashin blamed me again. He claimed I pushed him into giving gifts. He said I wanted him to waste money. Damon glanced at me with irritated impatience now. That single glance froze his entire body now. The next second he struck Cashin again now. He roared that Cashin had offended someone untouchable. Then Damon walked toward me and bowed deeply. He called me young Master Hale before everyone. He apologized for his brother's ignorant behavior today. The entire crowd fell into stunned silence now. Someone whispered